50年以后还活着吗？你喜欢北京吗？这生命到了最后一天，打算做什么？
Cities like Beijing, it's having to operate on a scale which is so much bigger than so many of the other cities that we've been to. Terrifyingly quick progress and change that has taken place in China in general and in Beijing in particular. A city is always a place of discourse. It's the multiple meanings that different kinds of people ascribe to that place. Having anyone listen to you with that kind of seriousness and taking your ideas seriously will change the way that you think, change the amount of space that you think you're allowed to take up in the world. So Lookout is a project that I make with my partner Becky Darlington in collaboration with a group of local children. We work with those children to help them to imagine what they think the future of that city might be. How do I say hello, everybody again?
大家好。
大家好. Hello. We always begin the project by bringing together a much larger group of children, creating a series of very open exercises, enable the children to to think and to imagine. We're going to tell a story of a day in the life of an ordinary person here in Beijing 50 years in the future. And they break into groups to imagine how their job will be different in the future. Are you all ready? Okay, so he's waking up, goes to use the toothbrush, and then use the towel. Past the street lights. Okay, you're working very hard. Oh, it's a boxing match? We're looking for those children that are interested in the project.
看看能不能人在火星上生活，所以人有可能会变多，那个环境会受到污染，所以人容易。现在许多那个房子都要拆了，变大了人就太多，那个交通都不方便。
Do we know, did you get a picture of his name, the ordinary man? So that we hope that the project brings to the children. It's one of empowerment, how they want the city to be and to take that seriously.
It's very nice to see you all again. Thank you very much for being part of our project Lookout. We're going to be thinking about the future of this city, Beijing. What things don't you like about Beijing?
有的人老乱扔垃圾，我讨厌停电、雾霾。住的家都是租的，就老家的那个想住多久就住。
So you said too many cars.
Transport and housing.
Well, weather is one.
Or better parks. But like my partner Becky, I did not actually grow up in a city myself. I grew up in a very, very small village.
Yeah, that feeling of being able to know everybody really well is something that you don't really get in the city.
From where I lived in my very small enclosed village, going to a city felt like opening a window onto the entire world. The nature of modernity is that more and more power, more and more money is concentrated in cities. Necessarily, it results in migration towards cities simply for survival. Cities were places where things really happened. I've always been fascinated by cities and always wanted to explore cities as a way of exploring the issues that are most fundamental to the world today. And I wanted to create a project that would be a platform for people who don't often have a voice in the city. And in this instance, that was children.
24全神贯注，法国大雕塑家罗丹邀请奥地利作家斯蒂芬仪态端庄，邀请莫名其妙。
School is mainly about learning, and that's a good thing. You know, learning is important. But learning often doesn't leave that much time for thinking necessarily. To help the children to create the future. And more green space, but New York is a very busy city like Beijing. I can't see if you can see here, but this is an escalator. The Great Smog of London. Clouds of gas that killed thousands of people in 1 year. People had to wear special masks to protect themselves from the smog. What's really important to you for a city in the future? We're going to decide on 4 aspects of Beijing that need to be improved in the future, according to you, to make it a better city.
I love ghost houses.
Yeah, it's
camouflage.
hidden by the
Drones, you know, like drone robots.
这个房子不贵，免费酒店。
Children are incredibly absorbent. They take in and reflect everything that they see around them, and they are not burdened by so much kind of realism, so much practical baggage. Even the most impossible ideas contain perhaps a grain of hope and possibility inside them.
建上充满绿植的公园，它们可以净化空气。乱丢垃圾的话，它就会发出警告。每个村口都会有高铁站，这样人们出行很方便。
想在天上设计屋子，让还有保护层不会轻易被小鸟捕捉。然后房租是免费的。
They have a very complex relationship with this city. Almost all of them wanted to go back to where their family originally came from.
I didn't know that they would have to leave Beijing. Since being here, we learned a bit more about their status in Beijing and the fact that they've come from other places and that they can't be registered here.
This is 我有可能上中学的时候，不能在北京上了。 如果找不到合适的房子、合适的学校，我们就得搬回老家住。我想做一个贝壳，我也想做一个那个海星，大小吧也就好。
这是咱家的房子。
这是很大的房子，孩子一定会有一个单独的房间。 这块是卧室的地方，
而且你家孩子还得有一个那啥，自己还有个游乐场。
And it's maybe a bit scary as well to realize how well they understand the predicament that they and their families are in. It also brings kind of sense of sadness or dislocation that I think will hopefully make this performance very powerful, because their experience of this city, their perspective on this city, is really important to hear, and is very distinctive. To be able to ask them lots of questions so that you can really make the most out of meeting these people and find out lots about them and lots of what they think about and care about. is simply to enable the children to make the most of the opportunity that this performance affords them. It takes a bit of coaxing and a bit of encouraging for them to realize how much bigger the conversations that they can have can be.
对你来说，世上最重要的是什么？
That's an interesting question.
朋友的情谊。
And why?
要是失去了，永远就回不来了。
And it's when they become like confident enough to be like, well, I'm in charge of this, so I know what I'm doing now.
我想摸一摸云朵是什么样的感觉。
把墨水和可乐混在一起喝了。
假如你的生命只剩最后一天了，你准备干什么？
Where's the underground park, and where do you think the robot should go?
The underground park is going to go this here.
Okay.
We will draw all of them literally on top of the picture.
We put this up on the wall of wherever we're recording them, just to help them imagine it for the recording.
Those imaginings are then turned into little audio recordings, soundtracked by the children themselves, and the adult listens to these imagined descriptions, and in between listening they have a conversation with the child. The performance will probably, almost definitely, extend beyond the lifetime of the adult audience member. Is giving adults an opportunity to imagine a world that exists beyond their own lifetime.
你好，我叫王子旭，
我叫钟小薇。你好，我叫王子旭了，今年我39岁了。我现在站在中间剧场的天台上，望着北京。我看到了很多在天空上的房子，
还可以通过天桥到达别人家，
还有收集垃圾的机器人。
现在的小孩想象力比我们9岁的时候要开阔得多。
我现在觉得变得特别不会想象。
我能看到小时候我住的地方，就在这边的附近。
那个时候的北京没有这么宽的路，这个地方还不存在呢。
天永远是蓝的，我们没有听说过有雾霾。
你知道这个狗尾巴草吗？以前我们小的时候都会拿狗尾巴草就折成了一只小狗。
在你40岁的时候，你畅想所有的房子都在天上飞，是什么样的房子呢？
不要钱的，免费的房子。
那我们就不用担心房租的问题了，
而且是非常的舒服。
不是我家庭条件不太好嘛，就有的时候学费还得管我爸爸妈妈的朋友借呢。
你有什么想对自己说的吗？
自己好好读书，长大给他们买车买房，就是我想回报爸爸妈妈。
他们想要的和你觉得他们想要的还不太一样。等我长大的时候才知道，陪着他们可能比较重要。
那您来北京几年了
20年。
我在北京出生的，你喜欢北京吗？
不喜欢。
为什么？
觉得北京环境很不好，然后生活的压力也很大。
这个城市有一个不好的地方，就是房价太贵了，对吧？
我觉得那个地方不好看，不好看。
当然，小怪物似的在那儿杵着，是吧
？Create a space in which they can also be kind to and care for one another. The technical skills that I have are better served providing other people with a voice.
你有没有想过离开这个城市？
能在北京上多久就上多久，不喜欢生活在没有爸爸妈妈的环境下。
现在是什么工作？
我现在在做媒体工作。
那你喜欢你现在的工作？
喜欢，但是事情很多，我觉得我感受不到现在我的就是生活是怎么样的。
那播放第二段录音吧。
我现在站在中间剧场的天台上，望着北京，可怕的灾难刚刚发生，橘色的日食，还有闪电，灰色在向我们靠近，慢慢的，慢慢的，世界将会这样死去。
你为什么觉得这个世界会死去啊？是因为现在天气不好吗？
有沙尘暴，还有雾霾。
人类不改变自己的生活方式，将来南极的冰山都化了，就会出现你说的大洪水。
在所有的灾难面前，人都会变得很可怜、很无助。
虽然我们还能呼吸，我们还能生活，但是我们的身体都在发生变化。
我不知道将来会是什么样子，所以我珍惜现在的北京。
想好好学习，长大当对北京的那个管理者，更深一层的管理那个空气这一方面的。
生命虽然短暂，但是我们可以利用它做无限的价值。
想做一名慈善家，先带头去做，然后后面肯定会有越来越多的人跟着我做。
年轻人真的是我们的希望。我为北京做的很大的贡献之一，就是我会把我的孩子培养好。
未来可能会比你想象的要更加的玄幻一些。
但是我希望这个世界还是不要被人类伤害的太厉害。
我希望未来是一个充满自由和爱的世界，
和环境和平相处。
希望未来一切都按照应该来的样子来。
假如您的生命到了最后一天，你打算做什么？
哇塞，这么……
我还希望我在去看不一样的地方的路上，
我可能也先会去看一看我的爸爸妈妈，可能那会儿他们都已经不在了，我可能会去能够找到他们痕迹的地方去看看他们。
我应该就坐在一个公园里，静静地看着天吧。
As you know, in this era, in this moment, marginalized voices are being listened to in a way that they haven't before.
你好，我叫冯毅，我今年100岁了。
你好，我叫丁子乔，我今年99岁了。
你好，我叫陈。这里人人平等，所以不能仗势欺人，在这里也不能虐待儿童。
我们还有一条特别的规则，只要是长在学校上的藤蔓都不可以拔。
The meaning of the performance for those children is a way of taking up space, a sense of belonging. Hopefully that is something becomes part of you, hardens something inside you